Let's get to our jam session for this Wednesday. And you were talking about the scary stuff, Felicia, in the headlines going on with North Korea feuding with President Trump. What does this mean for us? You know, we've heard so much about North Korea over the years and the threat of nuclear warfare. But to me, guys, it seems more real than ever right now. And it seems like President Trump is inciting more and not doing the best job of finessing this thing. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, we have Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un, who is erratic, unpredictable, and verbally extreme. And we have U.S. President Donald Trump, who is erratic, unpredictable, and verbally extreme. And it seems to me like the words fire and fury on both ends are not a real solution here. On Saturday, the U.S. put further sanctions on North Korea. But I don't think that's really going to do anything because Kim Jong-un has said or has proven that he doesn't care if hundreds of thousands of people die from starving to death. And so to me, it seems like China, who's North Korea's biggest ally or trade ally, really needs to put pressure on them. And this is kind of a hinge moment for the U.S. and China.
I guess I want to say, obviously, it's extremely frustrating. It's extremely frustrating because you want to feel like you can trust your leader. And that's not how I feel at this point in time. I don't feel like I can trust him to make the best decisions. And I think it's naive as Americans to think that we have the bigger guns. I think it's naive to think we have the bigger guns and that we can make a bigger impact. And whether it's 2 Americans or whether it's 2 million Americans, it's a big issue. And you don't want someone that's going to be inciting that. And I think also we're supposed to be world leaders. We're supposed to be the one that's forging the path, that's pushing for diplomacy and peace, and that should just be a last resort. And I know that obviously this is a longtime enemy of the United States. However, us pushing them, it's only a matter of time, I feel.
Yeah,
it's scary.
Yeah, it's very scary, and I'm very nervous because, look, both sides are saying, you know, they're the aggressor. No, they're the aggressor. You've got somebody like President Trump who's coming out, and we joked about this last week, saying he's on vacation. He's probably just going to relax, or you ever really on vacation when you're the president. And I feel like he's sipping cocktails. He jumps up there and goes, oh, really? They want a piece of us? Well, guess what we're going to do to them? We're going to inflict fire and fury like never seen before. And it's like, no, no, no. This is not how you come at North Korea, a very aggressive country with a dictator and a very aggressive leader that is willing to do whatever when it comes down to it. And what's scary to me is 2 clashing personalities like you talked about, Danielle, where I think this thing could get truly ugly. I pray for peace naturally, but I think this is a threat, you know, globally, where this thing could get really out of hand, and you need Donald Trump to take a step back and not use the bravado that he's approached everything, whether it be repealing Obamacare to the next thing. This is an entirely different situation, and he needs to take a different approach. He needs to rely on some other world leaders alongside him rather than just going rogue and saying, this is what we're going to do. I think it's a bad approach.
And you have a son. What do you tell your family? Because I think this is big news. Yeah. And fire and fury, these are words that we haven't heard before. So I'm sure your kid has heard something.
Yeah, you know, I almost channel what the Big Brother and the government does here, and I say to my son, look, everything's going to be okay. You don't want to scare him. Yeah. Doesn't really do anything, but you do let him know that there's dangerous people in the world. There's dangerous people in the country we live in, and there's dangerous people in other countries, and sometimes conflict can result in violence. You pray that that's not the case, and I teach my son to always approach every problem and try and resolve it non-violently, and hopefully that's what we'll see with these 2 countries and these 2 leaders right here. But without question, it's a scary situation.
It's an issue.
Yeah.
Moving on, according to Time magazine, millennials, they are buying homes, but for dogs. Nearly 1/3 of millennials who've already bought a home and did so in order to have more space for their 4-legged friends. Overall, dogs came in higher than children and marriage when millennials were asked for their top reasons for buying a house. Are you guys surprised by this one?
Not really, because I think that, I mean, I don't want to speak for everyone here, but like millennials are kind of commitment phobes. You know what I mean? So they don't necessarily want to go buy a house because you're committing to that house, and they don't necessarily want to have kids because you're really committing to those kids. And Felicia and I always laugh. That is like a lifetime of worry and anxiety in a great way too. And so, no, I'm not. I just think that dogs are probably a little bit less permanent than children.
But I think I would definitely agree that I think we can all agree that dogs are easier to raise than children. But I also think it shows,
yes,
like you
just
said,
so, in case you're wondering, yes, dogs are way more easier.
I think we can all agree with that. But I think it's definitely the level of commitment, like you said, and the fact that people still want that family feel. They want to be with their dogs, they want to be with their family, but they're not ready to commit and to have their own.
That's a great point.
I think that's really what it is.
I do. I think it's a cry for help. I think it's people out there saying, we'd love to have kids. We want to harness a family atmosphere. We want to give them that home. but we can't afford to do it with children yet. So this is the next best thing. I think they're practicing with dogs, and it sounds like a funny story initially, but to me it sounds like, hey, we're practicing. Like, we're practicing by taking care of a dog. It's much less pressure, and by the time that home is ready for children, we'll get there. But we need the finances to be in order. We got to get our money right.
Yeah.
We got to get the scratch together, and I get it.
I think that's a mistake, though. I think it's a mistake to think that you have, when you're young, you're in your 20s, you feel like you have forever. And I think it's a mistake to think that. You don't have forever to have children, to have a family, to find a husband. I think that can be an issue in the long run. I know that numbers for marriage and numbers for pregnancy are down right now. Yeah. And I think that could be an issue.
Well, I can say this. I love my son and I love my dog. I also love our DJ, resident DJ Mike B. Shout out to him. He's in the building for today with us for the next 2 hours. How you feeling today, cuz?
I feel great, man. How are you?
Feeling good, my friend.
I don't believe you. I need more energy, Mike.
He's trying to play GQ, Mr.
Wake
Cool.
up. Do you see dog, house, or marriage on the horizon for you anytime soon?
Afraid not.
Okay. No.